Joe Biden is not going to be running for president after all, and during his, concession speech, we're calling it, it appeared as though he kind of gave a little wink to Bernie Sanders. Take a look.
We cannot sustain the current levels of inequality that exist in this country. I believe the huge sums of unlimited and often secret money pouring into our politics is a fundamental threat to our democracy, and I really mean that. I think it's a fundamental threat because the middle class will never have a fighting chance in this country as long as just several hundred families, the wealthiest families, control the process. It's just that simple. And I believe we have to level the playing field for the American people. And that's going to take access to education and opportunity to work. We need to commit, we're fighting for 14 years, we need to commit to 16 years of free public education for all our children. We all know that 12 years of public education is not enough. As a nation, let's make the same commitment to a college education today that we made to a high school education 100 years ago.
So I like that he's talking about how we should commit to 16 years of public education. I also like how he's talking about getting money out of politics. I think that's fantastic. And to me, I kind of took it as a tacit endorsement of Bernie Sanders, but he's definitely not going to say any names. I don't know who he's going to endorse, so I don't want to put words in his mouth. So now I think this is interesting because the Democratic primaries are really starting to take shape. This is officially a two-person race. Sure, we've got Martin O'Malley. Sure, we've got Lincoln Chafee still in the race, but they're basically non-entities. They're completely irrelevant, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So what does this mean for Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton? A lot of people think that Biden's support will shift to Hillary Clinton, or at least the majority. That's not really verifiable. That's something that's so difficult to prove, and I don't know if that's going to be the case. I have no idea. I think we really have to wait for polls to see if it really makes a big impact. It could be 50-50, and then in effect, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things with respect to Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. But the thing is, we don't know. I know a lot of people, myself included, wanted Joe Biden to run because, it seemed as though it was possible that he could potentially take votes away from Hillary Clinton because he's the second establishment pick. But now that I kind of think about it a little bit more, I mean, look, Joe Biden is polling at 20% and whatnot, so I think he would be another fierce competitor. So by consolidating the competition, I think it makes it easier. I mean, if you're Bernie Sanders, wouldn't it be more difficult to tackle two really, savvy politicians at the same time? I think that would be more difficult. So I think that if he just focuses his efforts on Hillary Clinton and how he can beat her and stay focused on the issues, I think he's going to do great. So look, I don't think that we can really draw any conclusions yet. We have to wait and see. We have to wait for the polls, and not just one. We have to wait for multiple polls because you never know if a certain poll is going to be an outlier, not necessarily because the methodology is flawed, but the sample may just not be representative of the general public.